Welcome back, guys. This is Gaming with Alston. Today, we are on part 4 of Futuristic Yacht. And today, we're gonna go towards continuing with the construction process. Process of the construction Our preference towards certain foods is kind of controlled by human nature. By nature. Which kind of explains why we have a desire... why a lot of children have a natural preference towards sweets. They can't help that. It's not due to the marketing that's causing that. It's due to human nature. It's because our preference towards sweets is actually part of human nature. Is actually the result of human nature. That probably explains why we've yet to avoid junk food completely, as a species. That's because we have a natural preference towards sweet-tasting stuff, as well as salty and fatty foods. Plus, you know, you kind of need sodium to survive. Without that salt, your heart's gonna fail if you don't consume any amount of salt. You need sodium, or else you're going to die. most of your physique is actually controlled by what you're eating. If there's too little sodium, your body's going to have trouble gaining muscle. It's going to be hard to gain muscle if you're if you have sodium deficiency. If you have sodium deficiency, it's going to be hard to gain muscle. And it'll be even harder when you go through a growth spurt. Because sodium is kind of crucial for healthy development. Michelle Obama led us to believe that we need to cut down on sodium. In fact, cutting down on sodium is actually a really bad idea. Because you gotta take into account, there are people out there who are prone to hyponatremia. Who are prone to hyponatremia. Also known hyponatremia. Because you gotta take into account, there are people out there that are prone to hyponatremia. Whether it be acute hyponatremia or chronic hyponatremia. There are people out there who could end up with hyponatremia as a result of consuming too little salt in their diet. That's called chronic hyponatremia. What if I told you that someone needs to stop swallowing Atlas stones? That was a comment that Eddie Hall replied to in the video, Q&A video, when someone asked, Brian, who's got a bigger belly, Brian or Eddie Hall? Like, the question was, whose belly is bigger? Your of Eddie Hall. Those born addicted to drugs are actually at a greater risk of relapsing compared to same population who never did drugs who ends up starting doing those drugs. There's going to be plenty of headroom inside the yacht. One of my favorite responses when it goes to Brian versus Eddie Hall, when it goes to how big they are, is that Brian should stop swallowing Atlas stones. Is that Brian? Who's considered high risk for osteoporosis? Those with extremely low fat percentages tend to be at a greater risk of osteoporosis. And that is because with what very little fat their body has, they need that. You kind of need that fat in order to store vitamin D properly. With a lot of the vegan bodybuilders and fitness YouTubers, Giant Forehead calls them narcissists. Like Maddie Limburner. She does not put meat in a jar. Wait if... She doesn't... Unlike Giant Forehead. Unlike Giant Forehead. Unlike Massive Forehead Sphere... Maddie Limburner does not put meat in... raw, rotting, dead animal flesh. She doesn't even put meat in a jar. Wait a couple months. And eat it when it's a gooey, moldy mess. She eats a lot of oatmeal. That's a much better idea. It's actually a much better idea to be eating oatmeal than to let meat sit in a jar, wait a few months, and eat it when it's a gooey, moldy mess. I think I'm better off eating a big old bowl of oatmeal instead. I'm better off eating a big old bowl of oatmeal. Yeah, there are people out there that love meat so much they'd rather eat it raw. I used to be that type of person. Except I did not eat raw meat. If I did, I'd probably be in the hospital. And giant forehead gets high, off of rotten meat, obviously. Which kind of explains why he sounds high. And eating rotting meat is kind of disgusting. It's kind of disgusting, actually. It's kind of gross. Doesn't put meat... He doesn't, he puts meat in the jar, wait a few months, and eat it when it's a gooey, moldy mess. It's kind of disgusting. What will happen to the excrement and the urine on the yacht? It'd be turned into biofuel. If I still ate meat, I would have probably ended up exploring what it would have been like to consume rotten meat. But you know, I decided to go vegetarian before I had the chance, which is a good thing. It's a good thing I went vegetarian. Because meat's really not that healthy. Because it could put people at risk for hypercholesteremia. kind of funny how Giant Forehead pronounces veal. He pronounces it like wheel. It's kind of funny how he pronounces it. Wheel. Like, I have 10 months old wheel heart and 5 months old wheel liver. One of the comments posted onto the video was, I didn't know wheels had hearts. I did not know that wheels had hearts. I did not know that wheels had hearts. I did not know that wheels had hearts. Imagine if Giant Forehead decided to eat rotten meat instead of raw meat. He decided to eat some rotten meat at a vegan festival. Imagine what it would be like. Because he eats nothing but raw meat. He believes that the only health food out there is raw meat. Let me tell you, Sparrow, you shouldn't be eating raw... Let me tell you, Giant Forehead. Mr. Forehead. You should... I think you may want to stop eating raw meat. I think you might need to stop eating raw meat. I think you need to stop eating raw meat. Not only it's disgusting, but you could get very sick. You could get very sick. He eats rotten meat. That veal heart in Amsterdam that Giant Forehead ate, it wasn't the first time he terrorized the vegans. With the bloody hunk of raw meat. It was not the first time he terrorized vegans. It's not the first time he did that. It was not the first time he'd done that. It was not the first time he's done that. Anyways, this should be it for this video. Don't forget to leave a like if you like this video. Dislike if you disliked it, subscribe for more. Share this with your friends on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for more content like this. And as always, this is Gaming with Austin signing off. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more. Don't forget to share this on... don't forget to follow me on those social media platforms too. And as always, thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more. And choose.